Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. This is 5 weeks. I think I've strictly kept it to just Dolphins losses. And you just find new ways to hurt and embarrass yourself. But today, of all days, we know that the Miami Dolphins are soft. This we know, okay? But there are certain situations that are just unacceptable to blow. And when you get a 17 nothing lead on a team like this, even the most ordinary bums can go and close the show on that team. And instead, you take gifts early on and you not only squander it, but you squander it in the most pathetic fashion known to man. You get dump trucked for the next 2.5 quarters and watch it just piss away. And I just don't know what's left. Nothing, really. Nothing. Because it was even amongst like feel-good stories and seeing Darren Waller come out and light it up early. Whee! A waste. A farce. A charade. Just a bunch of phonies, dude. And I'm sitting here today. I don't even know what I am. Am I pissed? Am I sad? I'm embarrassed. I think that's what I am. I think I'm embarrassed, which I shouldn't be because I should have known. But I genuinely feel shame today. I genuinely feel shame in my bones watching this team. They lose today to the Carolina Panthers 27-24, blowing a 17 nothing lead and watching the Panthers outscore them 27-7 afterwards. The Dolphins today were a doormat to the Carolina Panthers trenches. I mean, if you want to talk about an absolute personification of how soft this franchise has become, how absolutely dreadful they are to stop anything without luck, it's basically what it's been, right? The only times they stopped the Panthers today is when Bryce Young did something just inordinately stupid. That's really what it was. I mean, I guess it was window dressed looking back on it now because, they start the game looking pretty good. They go out, they have a field goal drive. Okay, no bigs. And then, just right off the bat, the Dolphins get a gift where Bradley Chubb is like right all over Bryce Young. And he's like, and he just coughs up the football. You're like, awesome, dude. Great. Like, let's take that and let's do this thing. So the Dolphins take that, they march it all the way down the field. Tua, he finds Devon Achane for just a breathtaking play. A beautiful end zone pass. And you're like, all right, Dolphins are, we're talking about what is this going to be with Tyreek Hill? How's this going to be? All good, dude. We got this because the Dolphins are off and rolling. And the next possession, gorgeous play from Tua to Achane. Next possession, Bryce Young throws an absolute gem right to Minka Fitzpatrick. Dolphins get their first interception of the season. You couldn't be set up better than this. They play a little, the defense goes, they play a little duck, duck, goosies, and you feel like you're off and running. The Dolphins come back, and Tua is just finding a rapport with Darren Waller. He's like, looks like old Tua, throwing over the middle, finding receivers amongst three defenders, getting his cat burglar self on, fitting into tight windows. You're like, this is too good to be true. This is going to be, we've had the Canes, 2 tickets to FSU, taking them to Blowout City. We had the Panthers this weekend, taking the Tampa Bay Lightning to Blowout City. It seemed like the Dolphins were going to take the Panthers to Blowout City. Tua, he finds Darren Waller wide ass open in the end zone, and Dolphins are up 17-0. You're like, all right, dude, this is amazing. What could possibly go wrong, right? Well, then here's what happened. Bryce Young stopped making catastrophic mistakes. They took the ball out of his hands and they handed it over to Rico Dowdle, who just absolutely, positively took the Dolphins to the motherfucking woodshed, dude. This guy was running free, willy nilly on the Miami Dolphins. It was good for him. You know, I get it. Like, this is a guy last year, 1,000 yards with the Dallas Cowboys, but he was their backup. This is their backup running back. This is not their starter. This is their backup. We're sitting here being like, no Tyreek, but they don't got Chuba Hubbard, baby. Well, does it matter, dude? Because you could basically put probably a baby lamb in the backfield. Give the baby lamb a football in its mouth, and that baby lamb is probably going to run for 200 against the Dolphins, because that is how piss poor that front is. They get zero resistance, dude. It is embarrassing to see them operate. And then, whenever they could contain, all of a sudden Bryce Young is like, whenever I need a third or a fourth down, dude, there he was to just carve up the Dolphins, pick them apart, and come up with clutch throws. And it started, he was about to get swallowed up. The entire game changed on this 4th and 4. There were like 4 Dolphins around him. It looked like he was about to get taken down. The Dolphins were about to read him his last rites, and he says, nope, check this out, dude. I'm going to Ted McMillan, and you guys can stick on that. And they were off to the races. He would find Leggett for a touchdown, make it 17-7. And you're just like, okay, well, this shouldn't be too bad, right? Like, all right, that's 17-7. The Dolphins could surely, they just mustered up 2 drives. They could certainly muster something up, right? The answer would be no. They couldn't, because then all of a sudden, the Carolina Panthers just decided, hey, dude, guess what? We're going to absolutely bulldoze your offensive line, which sucks. And it was noticeable today, dude. This was a bad performance by the Dolphins' offensive line. The Carolina Panthers today rushed for 239 yards. The Dolphins rushed for 19. 1-9-ski. Ollie Gordon today, 3 carries, -2 yards. Devon Achane, 10 carries for 16 yards. Tua was 1 yard shy of having the longest run today. Tua. And look, you'd look at Tua's numbers today and you'd be like, hey, man, pretty good game. And I would be like, yeah, good game. But like, I was funny. I was having family over. My mother came over today. We cooked steaks. I made some stuff on the grill. We got the game on. And the Dolphins were sitting there. I'm jumping ahead. I'm kind of skipping all over the place, but who gives a rat's ass? The Dolphins are 1-4, just lost to the Panthers. And she's like, "Oh man, are they gonna win?" I'm like, "This last drive is inevitably gonna end in two ways, okay? Because the Dolphins got down 27-24, and I'm like, this drive ends just in what was it? There was 2 minutes left. All right, so Dolphins 2-minute drive. Let's go. Go get the win too, or at least tie." She goes, "You think the Dolphins are gonna come back?" I said, "This ends in two ways." I said it ends either with Tua getting intercepted, or it ends with Tua getting sacked to holy hell. And it nearly was both because he threw a ball too high to Jalen Waddle. If Jalen Waddle doesn't tip that ball, doesn't get a finger on it, he's getting picked off. But inevitably what happens is the Dolphins get just absolutely swallowed up to, I think it was Savaianaya who just had a dog game today. And I'm not mad at the rookies. Like, the rookies are the rookies. What am I supposed to do? This is Chris Greer's fault. I mean, it's Chris Greer's fault. It's Mike McDaniel's fault. It's the construction of this roster's fault. This has never been more. It's already been over. Like, we were trying to be good and we were trying to talk ourselves into maybe the Dolphins can go. You know, the Ravens look terrible. Like, the Dolphins really do have a soft month ahead. Who cares? I mean, honestly, they can't beat anybody of that. The only way they can beat somebody, the Jets showed you, the only way that the Dolphins can beat anybody is if the other team is just more inept. That's it. They cannot, with their force, their talent, their execution, they cannot beat anybody. Okay? They can't. They can't beat anybody. They have no control over the game. The only time that they can do anything is if they get breaks from the other team being more inept than them. We saw it with the Jets. We saw it today in the start of the Panthers game. But if the team is playing them straight up, no shot. No shot. And so, yeah, inevitably Tua got swallowed up. So, like, yeah, Tua had a pretty good game today. Like, he was fine. He was okay. I'm not putting this one on him because that would be silly. It was obviously the defense's fault. But I knew, like, with the Dolphins, like, would Tua win that game with, okay, we're going, okay, all of a sudden things were bottled up and then the Dolphins took the lead. Again, I'm skipping all over the place here. What is what it is. Because Rico Dowdle was just, I mean, Jesus, dude. The Dolphins, let me rein it in. Let me get back to where I was. Okay, so it was 17-7. Oh, Mike McDaniel's at the podium? No thanks, dude. Gives a rat's ass. He's on the podium. I'm at the podium. You hear me? I'm at the podium. I'm here for questions. Who has something to say? He's at the podium. Uh, um, what we, gotta, do, is, not give up on, on each other. Thanks, Mike. Why don't you give us another lesson on tying shoes, you jackass? Please do. I can't. What could he possibly say at the podium? Another check down. Do tell, dude, please. Anyway, so the Dolphins basically go 3 and out, okay? After there was like a thing where a poor stadium worker got like dehydrated. And yeah, Dowdle was just going crazy. He like busts a run up the middle, slips right by Kenneth Grant, who did get half a sack today. But that was about it. But Bryce Young was just coming up with big time plays. And then there was like just even times where they were trying to screw it up. Like he tried to call timeout, he had no timeouts. And you're like, this has to go away, right? So they settle for a field goal, but they're getting the ball back. You're like, all right, that's not great. They come back. Immediately come out the first half, Dowdle running right down the Dolphins' throat. Jalen Phillips would get a sack to leave it to a field goal. It's 17-13. You're like, all right, Dolphins, let's go, dude. Then the Dolphins would they would just come up with unbelievably undisciplined plays the rest of the way. Like the Dolphins, like Tua on a 2nd and 12, he would find Jalen Waddle. It would come back on holding on Cole Strange. That killed the drive. The Panthers they were going back and forth on this stuff. Like it was kind of a punt fest, a real Dave Wannstedt orgy. Jack Jones, oh, did he have a bad game today? Man, I felt bad. Like Jack Jones, dude, I was giving him a lot of praise these last couple of weeks. This dude was he was like the claw machine today, dude. Grabby McGrab. He was sitting there. I mean, he had a fistful of jersey all over the place and was getting called for it left and right. He probably should have been called for one on this drive, and they didn't call it, but he definitely did it. O'Connell, was that the Dolphins? What the hell's the Dolphins punter's name? Is it Bailey? Is it O'Connell? Who the hell cares at this point? Jake Bailey. Yeah, Jake Bailey, he had a big punt, got him within the 3. And you're like, all right, dude, that's kind of cool. You got him within the 3. That should be something nice. And Dolphins are able to hold serve there. They get the ball back. All right, can you do anything with this? No, because Devon Achane can't run the ball. Okay, let's do a little check down to Malik Washington for good measure. Oh, okay, great. That's a loss of 3. All right, cool. Let's try Julian Hill. These are our plays. These are our Dolphins. Unbelievable. Unfriggin' believable. You know, it was rough. Couple drives later, Tua on a 3rd and 7, he would have had Jalen Waddle. Terrible snap by Aaron Brewer, who, I mean, really stinks. He really stinks at snapping the football. He really is not good. Yeah. So Dolphins, that drive stalled out. So we were just going punt for punt. It was terrible. And then the game really picked up. Like it really picked up from there because Dowdle then decides, hey, dude, check this out. 43 yards up your ass. I'm like, oh, that wasn't gentle. And then you got another pass interference from Jack Jones. Dowdle took it to the 5-yard line. Bryce Young tried to get in. Jalen Phillips played pretty decently today. Like he had a sack. He came up with some stops, but I mean, like nobody on this defense should hold their head high for today. And then Dowdle would blast in the end zone. Carolina would take the lead. And immediately, I mean, it's 20 unanswered points. I'm thinking to myself, who we firing? Like, that's the first thing that came to mind was like, all right, dude, like, someone's got to lose their job over this, right? Like, this has got to be the moment. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. I just, it's so embarrassing. So the Dolphins then would answer. You're like, all right, cool. And this is where it's like, all right, you got to give Tua in the offense some praise because they got up off the camp after just being inept for about 2 hours of real time. Tua finds Jalen Waddle on the bomb, 46 yards, touchdown. And you're like, okay, right back in it. Just can you get one stop? And then, of course, you knew the answer was no. Because Dowdle starts off with a big run, and for good measure, Zach Sealer gets a defensive holding, which I really can't defend Zach Sealer. I mean, there's nothing to defend on this point. Like, dude, even the ones who I love, the ones who I root for the most, you got to call out Fat Cat Syndrome when you see it. And right now, dude's looking like a lethargic Garfield out on the field right now. Every time I see him, I know that he's getting a lot of blockers, but I mean, this guy has tried every which way to be undisciplined as well. He has stunk to high heaven. I mean, really, really bad. Really, really bad, Zach Sealer. No impact plays, basically. What did he finish today with? What do you have? 3 tackles, none for loss, 1 solo tackle. Even the rookie is now on the board with a half a sack, I believe. Kenny G got his first piece of a sack today with Jordan Brooks. But yeah, like it was tough, man. And today, of all people to really like expose the Dolphins secondary, it was Bryce Young. It was crazy. Like he would be, I mean, on a 4th and 5, he had some really clutch throws today. 4th and 5, he would find Horn toasting Rasul Douglas for a first down. And then Etienne would take it all the way to the 5, and then he would find his giant intangibles for a touchdown. Carolina's back on top 27-24. That was rough. And then, you basically were like, all right, dude. And then I get back to the drive that I already talked about, which was nearly throwing a pick off. Waddle tipped it, and Tua just getting crushed for the sack. Dolphins even on 4th and 8. I didn't even understand this. The Dolphins on 4th and 18. There were no good options, but like 4th and 18, like dude, just try a bomb. Like, what are you doing? Trying to be like the Dolphins were trying to. There was like a minute left with 3 timeouts, and the Dolphins were like, yeah, let's see if we can get the ball back with 15 seconds left. Like, what's the point? Your quarterback can't throw that far anyway. You might as well try. You're better off trying to get 18 yards. I didn't understand this at all. You're better off trying to get 18 yards in a bad position than you are for Tua to try and go get a touchdown with 20 seconds left. That made 0 sense to me. I didn't understand that at all, but I get it. The Dolphins offensive line, like there was basically it was McDaniel tap machine. He was tapping out. And the Dolphins even on 3rd and 5, like Jack Jones got called for a pass interference, so didn't matter though, did it anyway? So I don't know. I'm not listening to him. I'm sure he's answering questions about his job security and all that, blah, blah, blah. Look, it's not even the team is so poorly constructed. Like, we're sitting here getting excited. And look, Darren Waller's been an awesome. I'm not lashing out at him. I'm just letting it be known. Like, we're here celebrating a guy literally coming off the street, and it's a cool story. But like, if you're relying on that, like, what team are you? Right? Like, what is this team? It's a bad football team, is what it is. And to those who were ahead of the party, congratulations. Hope you got more room here. Because there's only one thing left to do. This thing is turning from a bandwagon into an absolute tank. That's what that's where we're at right now. We are changing the mission. I don't even know who I want to tank for. Okay, that's the thing. I don't know who I want to tank for. I'm not really sure. I don't really care at this point, but it's time to blow this sucker to smithereens. It really is. This entire build, put the dynamite around it, hit the plunger. Let's call it a day on this one because it's never it was already over, but it's never been more over. So strike up the band. Let's start looking at mock drafts. Shout out to the boys at the Meow Mix podcast. You walked away. I hope you guys come back. Your team showed balls today. They came back from a 17-0 lead. Very, very impressive by them. The Dolphins, they just continue to embarrass. I'm not going anywhere, though, because we got to do some open phones tomorrow. We're going to play a little Who We Firing on the radio show. It's going to be a blast. So thanks for tuning in. We're just numb at this point. Numb, but also very, very embarrassed and pissed off.